Hello, today is Friday, February 3rd, 2023. I'm Joe Schmidt from TC2, and this is Staying Connected. When a company permits employees to use personal mobile devices to conduct company business on those devices, they usually have some type of corporate bring your own device or BYOD program. Frankly, many, if not most, large private sector organizations have at least experimented with some form of BYOD policy because of the potential savings available by shifting some of their mobile services costs onto their employees. But is that the right reason for BYOD? And is it safe? Let's talk about BYOD. On today's podcast, I'm joined by two of LB3's top lawyers, Sara Crifasi, who is of counsel, and Kevin DiLallo, a senior partner. Sara and Kevin, thanks for joining me today. Okay, Sara, is BYOD just about saving money, and is it safe for enterprises?
Hey, Joe. Thanks for having us back. So, we'll talk about the reasons that companies adopt or at least consider having a BYOD program in just a minute. But despite enterprises' enthusiasm for BYOD, or maybe because of it, there doesn't seem to be widespread recognition of the risks that BYOD can pose to the security of organizational data and systems, as well as to personal privacy. And until now, there's been no authoritative guide to securing personal mobile devices used for work.
Wait, what do you mean until now?
A new initiative by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST, an agency of the U.S. Department of Commerce, led to the release of a comprehensive guide to safeguarding data and personal privacy in a BYOD workplace. NIST recently released a second draft publication on the matter, and it's impressive and off-putting in size alone at over 250 pages. And while it's free to the public and available online, we thought we'd save our clients some of the heavy lifting by providing a quick overview.
Okay. So, Kevin, perhaps that's why you highlighted this topic in the piece, What to Expect in 2023, that we posted on LB3's and TC2's websites.
Hi, Joe. Yeah, that's right. This is a big deal. So first, a little background. For those who are new to the wireless world, NIST describes BYOD as the practice of performing work-related activities on personally owned devices. Enterprises adopt BYOD for all kinds of reasons, including flexibility, employee choice and satisfaction, and above all, cost savings. But the use of personally owned devices for work purposes brings with it significant IT security, management, and privacy risks. As Sara mentioned, in November 2022, NIST released the second draft of a special publication addressing these risks. Even in its draft form, it's immensely useful to any organization that's thinking about allowing its employees to use their personal mobile devices for business. The goals of the publication are to provide a roadmap for enterprises that want to go down that route without jeopardizing enterprise data or systems or personal privacy. To balance these concerns, the publication proposes a standards-based approach that relies on commercially available technologies such as mobile device management tools.
And Sara, you said this working document is 250 pages?
That's right. So the publication is divided into 4 parts. First, we have a higher level executive summary for decision makers and the less technical types. It also includes chief information security officers and chief technology officers. Second, a much longer, more detailed technical section for security, privacy, and technology program managers. Third, an example of a hypothetical organization using the recommendations in the prior sections, as well as some other NIST guidance to implement BYOD in a secure manner that protects personal privacy. And finally, there's a how-to guide for IT professionals with specific instructions for implementing the recommendations. But given that the goal of our podcast is not to put anyone to sleep, we're going to stick to the high-level executive summary. So NIST's guidance focuses on iOS and Android mobile devices, smartphones and tablets in particular, and on technologies that support NIST's cybersecurity framework and its privacy framework. From there, the publication recommends solutions and techniques including enterprise mobility management, mobile threat defense, application vetting, a trusted execution environment that supports secure boot and image authentication, and virtual private network services.
Joe, we've done a lot of podcasts about wireless services. The publication confirms many of the themes that LB3 and TC2 have articulated over the past several years, themes that are key for any enterprise that's implementing or contemplating a BYOD policy. For example, NIST echoes our warnings that employees shouldn't be permitted to use their own mobile devices for work unless the organization manages them, such as through the use of a mobile device management solution. As we've cautioned, unmanaged personal devices create a host of risks, including unauthorized access to sensitive information, location tracking, email phishing, eavesdropping, misuse of device sensors, and compromise of organizational data on lost or stolen devices, just to name a few. BYOD also raises concerns that enterprises might not have considered. First, it means that enterprises need to consider and stay ahead of changes made by various manufacturers and operating systems. IT departments need to review and manage rollouts of different patches and updates. And management needs to consider the ages of devices, not to mention interoperability issues that arise in a multi-vendor environment. Any Outlook user who's received a calendar invitation from a user of the former IBM Lotus Notes knows the importance of interoperability. The NIST publication points out the irony that measures organizations might take to improve security and personal privacy can actually jeopardize employee privacy by giving employers access to content stored on personal devices. Obviously, any security solutions organizations consider should achieve their goals without compromising personal privacy or data.
All right. So, Sarah, what are enterprises supposed to do?
Well, we urge our listeners to review the publication's executive summary and have their security professionals review the technical portions. To the extent that your organization isn't already using some of the techniques and tools that the publication recommends, consider whether it makes sense to supplement your current practices with the missing recommendations. And keep in mind that while there would be a cost to doing so, the cost of not doing so might be even greater.
Also, keep in mind that if the publication's recommendations are widely viewed as standard best practices, the failure of an organization to implement the recommendations could be characterized as negligence in a data breach case. In other words, once the final publication is released, it might set the de facto standard of care for enterprise security professionals who are charged with safeguarding the organization's sensitive data and personal information in the wild west of a BYOD environment.
Okay, good stuff. Thanks, Kevin. Thank you as well, Sarah. Now, if you would like to learn more about this NIST document, or maybe you have other wireless needs or other ICT needs, you can contact Sarah, Kevin, me, or any of our LB3 and TC2 colleagues by giving us a call or sending us an email. You can also stay up to date by subscribing to Staying Connected, by checking out our websites, and by following us on LinkedIn.